Okay guys, so welcome back. So last time we talked about the squat and I taught you guys more or less how to squat. Now let's talk about the bench press. It's the second event in a powerlifting competition. So the bench press is one of my no, actually the bench press is my weakest event. Um I'm not I'm not very good at it. And just to tell you guys, even for the last video, I forgot to mention, I am by no means a coach or an expert in powerlifting. All all of what I'm sharing with you is based on my personal experience and like um how I do things and yeah, it's all on like a personal level. So check with other sources, check what works for you. Don't do what I say as if it were the only correct way to do everything, okay? All right, so with that, okay, so how do we execute a proper bench press, okay? So this is a video of my this week's heavy bench press that I did. So there's quite a few things going on here, okay? Number one, it's the tightening of my back. So I'm trying to get my shoulders together, my lats engaged so that my whole back is very tight, okay? Because this is important throughout the lift. Okay, number two is grip. As you can see, I'm holding on to the two rings that you can see on the bar. Okay, so with powerlifting, it doesn't really matter how narrow or how wide your grip is, as long as your I think it's your index finger that has to be on the rings. Okay, so that's like the maximum width. Okay, you can't go wider than that, but there's no problem going narrower if you if you like. Okay, and then finally the feet. So I have to plant my whole foot, meaning that my heel cannot leave the floor. Again, this is another thing that varies from federation to federation. In our case, we're not allowed to lift the heel off the floor. Also, our you can see it in the angle, but the butt has to always be in contact with the bench throughout the lift, and the head cannot go up. Okay, so as you lower the bar, of course, for competing athletes, this means waiting for the start command. So lower the bar and kind of as you lower the bar, your elbows have to imagine that you're bending the bar. Okay? So as you're lowering the bar, imagine that you're bending the bar like this. So inevitably your shoulders will go in, sort of, okay? This is kind of exaggerated, but um in essence that's what's gonna happen, because you're trying to bend the bar in half. Okay, you're trying to bend the bar, so while pulling it down, your elbows are kind of gonna tuck in. Okay, and then it's gonna rest on your chest. Always make the bar reach your chest. Okay, don't be like one of those douchebags who half rep the bench. So they come down halfway and then they press it back up. Or sometimes even worse, they only go about like an inch or two down and then they immediately bring it back up. Okay, that's stupid and it's useless, and I don't want any of that. Okay, so the bar comes into contact with the chest, pause for a bit, and then just push with everything you have, push the weight back up. Okay, And then of course for competing athletes, this means waiting for the rack command before returning the weight to the rack. Okay. Okay, so a few tips when bench pressing. I think a lot of people don't know what a lot of people don't know is that when bench pressing, energy is actually generated all the way down from the legs to the upper body as you press the weight up. Okay, so drive those legs into the ground very hard, as hard as you can, and keep the back tight always through any lift. Okay, keep the back tight, drive your legs hard and all the way until you press the weight. Okay, and then also I like to, as you can see, as you saw in the video, I like to have someone unwrap the weight for me. This helps me maintain tightness in my upper back. Okay, it's just I guess it's another thing that I like to do personally. A lot of people don't do it or don't have the need for it, but it's more common for people to actually have the have the weight taken from them out of the rack. Okay, and then in also for competing athletes, you can tell the loader or the one who will unrack the weight for you how you want it to be done. So do you want him to take all the weight, or do you want him not to help at all? Whatever, you can talk to them and they'll help you with that. If you're lifting alone, I'd recommend not locking the plates in. So there are normally like collars or locks that you can use to keep the weight in place. But if you're training alone, I'd recommend not using those, because if it comes to a point where you can't press the weight, either you're tired or it's just too heavy, you can simply rest the bar on your chest and tilt to one side to throw off those weights, and then tilt back to the other side to throw off those weights. So you just have the bar left, and then just return it to the rack and you'll be safe. Okay, so contrary to what other people think, powerlifting is pretty much a safe sport as long as it's done correctly. There's no contact involved, it's just you and the weight that you have to handle. But more on that maybe on another video. Okay, so that's basically the bench press. So just again, just comment if you have questions. Just comment if you have questions regarding the bench. I will try to answer them as best as I can. Please leave this video a like if you learned something, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can see the other videos and future videos as well, which I will be posting. I try to do it once a week. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget that we live to eat and exercise for the extra rice.